Hello, higher chemistry pupils, and welcome to week 2, day 2, and your lesson on fragrances. Today's lesson is going to be in two parts. Firstly, we're going to learn about essential oils, and then we're going to learn about terpenes. Make sure you've got your notes jotter handy, ready to take notes, pen, pencil, highlighter, and remember to pause the video at any point if you need to go back over anything, so you've got enough time. I will be on Teams or Mr. Shepherd or Miss Ballantyne throughout your lesson, so make sure you ask if anything is unclear. The prior learning we need for today's lesson: firstly, I can define volatility and solubility. These are terms that we learned in Unit 1. Volatility is to do with the ease of evaporation of a substance, and solubility describes the ability of a solute to dissolve in a particular solvent. I can describe molecules in terms of their saturation, so we should know that molecules that have a carbon-to-carbon double bond are described as unsaturated, and they can undergo addition reactions. I can systematically name a compound from its structural formula, so that involves thinking of the homologous series that we already know. If you see a structural formula, you should be able to name it according to where any functional groups are and how many carbons it has in any branches. So firstly, our learning on essential oils. We're going to define essential oil. We're going to describe the volatility and solubility of essential oils, know some uses of essential oils, and know that terpenes, a new compound that the second lesson is about today, are key components in essential oils. At this point, you want to start writing everything else on these slides. I'll let you know if something is additional and you don't really need to write it down. But just remember to take your time as you work through this, okay? So, essential oils. You may already have heard of essential oils, and you may have some ideas about what essential oils are and what they're used for. Things that might come to mind would be nature, wellness, health, cleaning. I have some peppermint oil from my home. If you have some essential oil in your home and it's in a pure form, you would have it in a sort of a brown bottle like this, a brown glass bottle, to stop it reacting with light and to stop it reacting with any plastics. Essential oils are really useful. It's a bit controversial about how useful they are, but they are really interesting compounds, and we are going to learn about the chemistry of them. So, essential oils, let's get our definition sorted first. So essential oils are concentrated extracts of the volatile, non-water soluble, so hydrophobic aroma compounds from plants. The oils have the aroma of the plant from which they are extracted. So lavender oil would smell like the lavender plant, lemon oil would smell like lemons. So it's the concentrated extract. Extract means that you've taken it out, and concentrated is the opposite of dilute. So it's usually pure or then just very slightly diluted, not much. Volatile, so there's our word that we need to learn, need to recap on today. So essential oils are volatile. That's how we can smell them, because they evaporate easily into the air, and so we can smell them, and they're non-water soluble. Okay, so what should be coming to mind before we even thought about the structure of them? If they're non-water soluble, then we would be thinking, well, other things that we know that are non-water soluble would be like fats and oils, alkenes and so on, and what they might have in common. Examples of essential oils include lavender, peppermint, orange, lemon, and eucalyptus oils. There are many, many essential oils to know, but you just need to have a couple of examples up your sleeve in case you're asked. When we're thinking about the word essential oil, let's make sure that we're clear that it's different from when we talk about an essential amino acid. So when we learned about proteins, we discovered that essential amino acids, the definition of essential in that context means necessary. Okay, so we needed those essential amino acids for life. But in the context of an essential oil, the word essential means to do with the essence of, so it's the fundamental part of something, or the basic part of it. So I've put a little dictionary definition of what essence means here, and just if we could write down that unlike essential amino acids, which are essential as some living things cannot make them, so as in they're necessary, essential oils simply mean oils related to the essence of the plant. Okay, so they're described as essential. We need to know how you can extract essential oils, although we are not required to know the details of the process. So I'm just going to briefly summarize how steam distillation works, and then I'm going to show you a couple of diagrams. This is not super important, so you can just summarize this. So essential oils are extracted from plant sources by a process called steam distillation. Because the oil is volatile, it is carried with the steam. It is then chilled and collects as a mixture of oil and water, which can be easily separated. So here are two representations of this. The one on the left is a slightly more sophisticated method of steam distillation, and the one on the right is a more simple one that we could have theoretically carried out in the lab. But both involve some sort of mixture. The one on the right stipulates it's got some orange peel there, so you would be wanting to extract the essential oil from the orange. And then there is heat. The heat warms up the water that's in there, and then the steam that's created carries the essential oil through it, and then it gets condensed either with a condenser or with just a wet filter paper wrapped around the tube to turn it back into liquid, and then we can collect the essential oil and the water. The oil would be found as a layer on top of the water, so it could be easily poured off or just droppered out. Uses of essential oils then. So I've got 3 examples of places that you might find essential oil in your homes. You might have some albus oil. Albus oil is actually a mix of some different essential oils. You may have them in any aromatherapy product. So you might have some lavender oil to help you sleep, or you may have some rosemary oil to help you relax. You might also find them in hygiene products, like this hand sanitizer contains lemon essential oils. But I've put 6 kind of main ways or main uses of essential oils. So cosmetic products, medical products, and dentist products. So for example, like some toothpaste would actually have peppermint essential oil in them. Cleaning products, insect repellents, perfumes, and flavorings. So lots of these are uses of essential oils. What are essential oils made from? So essential oils are mixtures of organic compounds. It's not just one thing, it's a mixture of different things. And remember, that organic word means it's a carbon-based compound. A key component in essential oils is known as a terpene. Okay, so that's a new word for us today. So that's essential oils. We should know the definition of them. We should know that they're volatile. We should know that they're oil soluble. We should know some uses, for example, flavors, perfumes, and cleaning products. And we should know that terpenes make up essential oils. So let's think now about terpenes. If you haven't already paused the video and gone back and made sure that you're happy with essential oils, do that now. And when you're ready, let's move on. So I can describe the structure of a terpene. I can systematically name and draw an isoprene unit. That's a new word for us. I know terpenes can be oxidized to produce some of the compounds responsible for the distinct aroma of spices. I can identify an isoprene unit from the structural formula of a terpene. I can state the number of isoprene units in a terpene molecule from its structural formula. Okay, so what are terpenes? So just a couple of slides ago, we discovered that essential oils are made of a mixture of organic compounds, and one of the key organic compounds is a terpene. So terpenes are key components in most essential oils. They are components in a wide variety of fruit and floral flavors and aromas. So we already know that esters are flavor compounds. We know that aldehydes are flavor compounds. And now we've got these new molecules called terpenes, okay? Just to be clear, flavor is a combination of taste and aroma, really. Taste, if you were to taste something, let's say taste a peach, then the taste of it would be sweet in your mouth. The flavor of it would be peach flavor. So you would describe something as being peach flavored, not peach tasting, okay? It's sweet tasting, but the flavor is peach. And actually you can do an experiment on this. If you taste a piece of fruit, or it's fun with different flavors of crisps as well, try and eat it with your fingers over your nose, so not smelling at the same time, and you might be able to detect the taste. So is this sweet, is this savory, is this salty, is this sour? But the actual flavor will be really difficult to detect unless you can also use your nose to smell it, okay? So that's what we mean by flavor. Terpenes are unsaturated compounds formed by joining together isoprene units. So we know if they're unsaturated, then they can be joined together through addition reactions. An isoprene unit is a molecule that's got the systematic name 2-methyl-buta-1,3-diene. So before I show you the formula for this and the structure, we can see that it's got 2 double bonds at the first carbon and at the third carbon, and on the second carbon there's a methyl group. So in total, we've got 4 in the chain for buta and 1 in the branch for methyl. So 4 plus 1, 5 carbons altogether. That is the structure of an isoprene unit. And the molecular formula is C5H8. Isoprene units can be linked together in 2 ways. So the addition reaction means that we can open up the double bonds and we can make them larger. So we can add isoprene units together to make these larger molecules called terpenes. We can either attach them head to tail, so one here, one here, one here, one here, and then that would be linear. Or we can attach them in rings. So we can attach them so that the carbon atoms form a ring, and that would be cyclic. So linear and cyclic terpenes are the 2 categories. We also need to be familiar with this term terpenoid. Terpenoids are formed from oxidizing terpenes. So terpenes can be oxidized within plants, producing some of the compounds responsible for the distinctive aroma of spices such as cloves, cinnamon, and ginger. So sometimes if you have, say, if you're cooking something, it might call you to crush one of the spices, or to dry fry some of the spices, or to some other cooking process, and that would be to get the aroma compounds out through an oxidation process. So that's why sometimes the oil itself or the spice itself doesn't start to smell until you do something with it. Terpenes containing oxygen or other functional groups are known as terpenoid. So it's either a terpene if it's just got carbons and hydrogens, but if it's got some other functional groups, if it's got some oxygen in it as well through an oxidation process, then we would refer to it as a terpenoid. We need to be able to know that we can extract these terpenes. Again, just the same as steam distillation, you don't need to know the details, so you can just kind of summarize this. It's just so you're familiar, just so you know where we get these terpenes from. So terpenes can be extracted in the laboratory in a process called solvent extraction. I've just put this in italics so that you know that not to copy it directly, that's okay. This technique is often used in organic chemistry to remove one substance from a mixture of substances, particularly where one substance is soluble in aqueous solvents, so that's like something watery, and the other is more soluble in organic solvents, so something like hexene would be an example of an organic solvent. In this way, the substance can be purified. Okay, sorry, I went a bit too fast there. So that's how we can get terpenes out. So remember we said that an essential oil is a mixture, and that one of the key components of that mixture is the terpene. Well, you could have different terpenes, and if you wanted to extract one of them, then you could use this process called solvent extraction. We're going to now briefly look at some examples of terpenes. The first one we're going to think about is limonene. So that is a cyclic terpene. We can see the isoprene units. So one of the isoprene units has been drawn in red and one has been drawn in blue. So you'll be able to see there is 10 carbon compounds in total in a molecule of limonene, okay? And you can see that some of the carbon atoms have joined to form a ring, so it's a cyclic terpene. It would be found in the skin of citrus fruits such as lemons. Okay, that's limonene. Here is another one. This is beta-carotene. Now, you do not need to copy this, but I just wanted to highlight to you. You can see again the different isoprene units have been, or the isoprene units have been drawn in blue and red so that you can see where one starts and stops and the next one starts and stops. So we'll see we've got lots of different we've got a different structure here. This is a linear one. So beta-carotene is a linear terpene found in carrots. It is made from 8 isoprene units linked head to tail. So even though there's like little cyclic bits at the end, the broad structure of this is linear because most of the isoprene units have been joined head to tail to create a sort of longer chain. The beta-carotene is responsible for the color in carrots, sweet potatoes, pumpkins, butternut squash, and it's also found in other green leafy vegetables, but the color of The green color from the chlorophyll masks it. Okay, so that's beta carotene. You can see beta carotene, but it's a pure terpene. It's only got carbon and hydrogen atoms in it. Okay. Then we've got menthol. So menthol is a cyclic terpenoid, a terpene which has been oxidized. It's found in peppermint and has a distinctive aroma. So there is the molecule of menthol, and we can see it has a hydroxyl group attached. So it's not a terpene, it's a terpenoid. Okay, so we can see it's from 2 isoprene units, but it's also been oxidized. So we've got that hydroxyl group there. Okay, so let's recap on the learning today from the essential oil section. So I know that an essential oil is a concentrated extract of aroma compounds from plants. I can describe the volatility and solubility of essential oils. So we know they're volatile and they're soluble in oil. I know some uses of essential oils. So cleaning products, cosmetic products, perfumes. I know that terpenes are key components in essential oils. So we know essential oils are mixtures, and one of the key parts of that mixture is terpenes. I can describe the structure of a terpene. I can systematically name and draw an isoprene unit. So we know 2-methylbuta-1,3-diene, and we should be able to draw that structure with the 5 carbons. Remember, terpenes are hydrocarbons and they are unsaturated. I know terpenes can be oxidized to terpenoids to produce some of the compounds responsible for the distinct aroma of spices. I can identify an isoprene unit from the structural formula of a terpene. So if you were shown a terpene, you should be able to say, oh, there's one isoprene unit, there's another, by counting the carbons. Remember, there's 5 carbons per isoprene unit. I can state the number of isoprene units in a terpene molecule from its structural formula. So again, if you were shown, like in that beta carotene example, you'd be able to count along and say, well, that beta carotene is made from 8 isoprene units. Okay, that is the learning for today. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you've enjoyed learning a bit about essential oils and terpenes. Please make sure that your notes are complete and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, everyone. Bye.